Are we live? Hope so. Hope I pressed the right button. Hello. Well, to be honest, I was meant to start a minute ago, and I do apologise, but they've changed the buttons on my recording software, so I accidentally pressed the wrong one. So it didn't start streaming; it pressed start recording. You know, why would you change the buttons? But anyway, hello everyone. Welcome back to Send It's Weather channel. Today we are back with an amazing stream. I'm not expecting this one to be too busy, but we're just going to go with the flow. We can see all your names on the chat. Cheers to Mods for it, removing some bad people. Tut 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 to you. Hello to all these names in the chat. It's nice to see you all in here. I hope you're all doing well on this Saturday evening. Well, obviously, I'll put something on the screen so you can look at it while I have a look at the chat. But I can see all your names on here. And cheers to everyone for joining. So I'll have a quick name call for everyone. So we had Marco in here first with his Let's Go. Hello to everyone. Hello to Fisk. Hello to John, Motel Dublin, James, Moderator, Chris Afe. We've got loads of names in here. Wow. Lynette as well. Jumping Jacks, Josh. Just loads of names in here as well. It's really nice to see all the names in here. Earth Heart as well, dropping in to the stream, and Eddie Toma as well. Eddie Toma. It's these stupid at handle things. I've no idea what they mean, but I think that's what it is. Hope you feel better soon. Cheers. I've got the cup of tea, so you know, we're all right. By the way, there's a limited quantity of these releasing soon. You might be interested. I'll feature them more in the next stream. On to watch. Rachel's asking who else is excited for Yellow Snow and Yellow Santa for Christmas. Not me, that's for sure. Hello to Paul as well. Paul James, Jacob, Shy Society, Mark Hill. Evening to all of you, and the Trainer Nature Show. Wow, so many names in here. It's brilliant. And of course, my good mate, John Baxter. Hey up. Right, anyway. But yeah, cheers Motel for liking the videos. Do appreciate it. Let's enjoy this without more idiots. yeah. Take an orange. Hello to Andrew and Danny V, my other top moderators in the chat. Nice merch. Cheers. Yeah, you might have to cop some, but there's limited quantity. I'm not telling you how many, but there's a limited quantity next week. That's all I'm going to say on it. But more on that later. We'll start by looking at the model runs for the next few weeks to see what they are showing. The boring stuff, we'll start with the boring stuff, and, we'll get to the exciting, winter content later on. But yeah, we'll start by looking at the main model runs for the next couple of weeks. So at the moment, it is quite cold today, and I'll just quickly show you this, and I'll refresh the page so you can see it. Whoopsie daisies, I'll refresh the page. You can see that northern Scotland has seen some wintry showers. There you go, some wintry showers over the Scottish mountains and glens, even like Braemar and where James is and stuff, and it's been quite heavy at times, especially through the early hours. They have seemed to reduce throughout the day, but there are still a few patchy showers around over the highest ground. Some of these have turned to rain, so near Aviemore they've turned more towards rain. But there you go. But it does vary. It does vary. So yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up. But there's definitely been a few wintry showers around, and I've seen the pictures on the old Twitters and stuff. Cheers to Braemar for his donation. I do appreciate it. Thanks for all you do. Great knowledge. Cheers. Thank you very much to you. Hazel's in the chat. Hello to you. Hopefully your care arrives on time. Be calling the out of hours office your laughter, won't you? What's going on with my name? Oh, Suit, that's the new names, the new handles in the streams. It's some stupid new feature. And hello to On The Rise as well. Good evening, peeps. Hello to you. I haven't seen you in the chat before. Nice to see some new names in here. Just going to have a quick sip because my mouth's running a bit dry. Too much yapping. Excuse me. Right, anyway, higher pressure is positioned out to our west, and lower pressure is towards Scandi, so Sweden, but it's Scandi, come on. And winds are in from a northerly direction, so it has felt a little bit cooler and more changeable recently. Obviously, it's going to remain quite cool for the next few days. Got an area of low pressure pushing, or an area of low pressure is pushing into northwestern Scotland through Monday morning. And that might bring some rain showers in, as you'll see on the UKV chart later on. And then we're into a bit of an unsettled theme into the second half of this week. So we've got low pressure moving in from off the Atlantic. It doesn't quite get in because we've got higher pressure to our east, quite strongly built to our east, and lower pressure out to our west. So we're bringing in a pretty mild southwesterly airflow. So pretty mild, let's be honest. Areas of low pressure trying to barrage in from off the Atlantic, and they continue to do so. So plenty of wet weather, particularly focused on the north and the west of the UK. Maybe the south and southeast are staying mostly dry. With the final days of the GFS run, higher pressure begins to build further to our south, and we turn things much drier with sort of a westerly flow, west-southwesterly flow, but definitely turning drier. Said I was struggling. Definitely turning drier though towards the end of this GFS run. So definitely a drying trend in the long term. And of course, that's a long way off and very unreliable and uncertain. Moving on to the GEM next. Let's see, record-breaking warm start to November. Let's hope not. We've got higher pressure again out to our west, lower pressure to our north. Well, actually, it's to our east, and winds are in from a northwesterly to northerly direction until around Tuesday, when areas of low pressure do push in from off the Atlantic, bringing more unsettled spells of weather. But with the GM, it has areas of low pressure a little bit closer, a little bit centred a little bit closer to the UK, but still out to our west. Higher pressures over and to our south, and winds are in from a southerly southwesterly direction. So again, very mild with this, very mild pattern in the whole. Areas of low pressure trying to move in, but they are just out to the west of the UK, and because high pressure is positioned to our east, winds drag up from a southerly direction, so pretty mild. Whenever you've got high pressure over southern France, it's not a good sign, or Italy, it's not a good sign, really, you've got to be honest. Even when it's positioned over Spain and we've got low pressure to the north, that's a terrible sign, because that's a westerly flow. So that's kind of what you want. You want higher pressure, but if you want cold, which, you know, there's a few people that don't in this chat, but if you want cold, you want higher pressure in the Atlantic and this region, and lower pressure over Scandinavia and the Nordic regions. Then you get your colder air, but not this time. It does look pretty average, really. It doesn't look like there's too much going on in the forecast. But we'll move on to the AI model, which I am going to start using this more because it has been proven to be the most accurate model out of all the main model runs. So again, we're bringing in unsettled conditions, even as early as Tuesday with the AI model run, the ECM AI model run. We've got westerly, not southwesterly winds, a lot more unsettled with this one, a lot more variable for all parts of the UK. That continues till around day 10, when higher pressure builds to our south and lower pressure is up towards Iceland. And we again bring up a mild southwesterly wind with that as well, so turning things milder again. Before we do get a slightly fresher proper westerly flow at the end of the run, I must say there's a lot of agreement between these models, definitely for things to turn much more unsettled and changeable into the start of November, but maybe in the long term, higher pressure might start building closer to the UK. So, looking at the ensembles, we're going to have a look for Barnsley today, because why not? I'm just going to zoom that in so you can see it a bit better. Doesn't look very exciting for November. I told you it wasn't. Chinese food on her beard tonight. Is winning. The way clocks go back tonight. Yeah, the clocks do go back tonight. This is the very interesting GFS ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The green line is the operational run that we just checked out, and the red line is the 1991 to 2020 mean. So, so sorry about that. So for the around the next 5 days, temperatures are looking a little bit below average, basically up to the end of October. But then into the start of November, temperatures do begin to rise to around to slightly above average. You can see the operational run, this thick green line is all over the place, indicating variation in the temperatures. You can see something which is a distinct trend though, not that many colder runs in the longer term. There's one or two, but you always expect that, and it is quite an encouraging sign for things to turn definitely milder into the last days of this chart, so around the 5th of November onwards. Does look like there's quite a few milder runs in there, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. A very mixed chat in here, besides between people who like the colder air, who like the frost and fog and snow, and then the other people that like the milder air. So, yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? I wanted to show this very quickly, and I will check the chat again, because I haven't done that in a minute. Let's see. Memphis wants a very deep layer of yellow snow. I don't want yellow snow, Rachel. I don't. Pretty basic weather for the UK, yeah. Don't want that. Polar vortex a lot more stronger than originally, though. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot you're having a holiday, Laura. I hope that's going all right as well for you. This is the Arctic sea ice. So this, oopsie daisies, that's my VPN. So this is the blue line is the current UK ice extent. This is kind of our average. But there is one thing I don't like about this, and I have mentioned this before, is that we are using an old set of data. 1981 to 2010 is our long-term average that we use. And I just don't agree with it. Like, why isn't it 91 to 2020? Why are we using outdated data? But you can see this is 2025, the blue line. And as you can see, the sea ice extent, this is the lowest we've ever seen, which is the 2012, which was the lowest Arctic sea ice extent that we ever saw. And then we've got the current year, 2025, which is kind of trending in line, especially now. But again, nothing too much to worry about. That the average is here, but we are here. But I will show you something which is a little bit discouraging and might actually be a negative for the upcoming winter. Which some of you might see that as a positive, and others a negative. This is a ridiculous chart, by the way. This is the temperature anomalies across the entire world for the next, well, for 27th of October. This chart is ridiculous. Look at the amount of reds on the chart, which is above average temperatures. That is a ridiculous amount. Look across the North Pole. You can see on the graph it is ridiculously above average in terms of temperatures on the surface. 10 to 12 at least degrees above average, even for parts of Alaska and Canada. It is a pretty crazy chart. You can see that Greenland is quite cold in parts, but then very mild to the far north. Looking at the world, though, it's a pretty bleak picture, isn't it? Look at Russia, Eastern Europe, into Italy. There's lots of reds on here, but then also on the contrary, you've got places such as Austria, which saw their first snowfall in many, many years for the time of year. It is a very mixed picture, I have to say, across the globe. I just wanted to bring that up anyway. This is not a good sign, though, for the upcoming winter. Oh, it might be. It depends on how you look at it. Scotland's in the blue. Well, Scotland's always in the blue. It's every year. But, yeah. If the mirror was correct, we would be coldest every country. Andrew, we know you hate the snow. Oh, sorry, Chris. Just got an administrator. YouTube, what are you doing? I've turned the ads off, and it's still playing ads. I do apologise. Did not turn them on. Hello to Adam Blunsden. Hello to you. I hope you're doing well. How are you doing today? You won't get lynched at all. There's a lot of people in this chat that don't like snow. I'm not one of them. So, there you go. This is the daily mean temperatures from the ECM WF. This is the current trend. But unfortunately, into the latter half of October and November, you can see that what we want to see is this is at the Arctic, by the way. What I want to see is these temperatures dropping, similar to the average line. But as you can see, the temperatures at the Arctic are holding station and aren't really dropping. So they should be at like minus 30 by the end of October, and they are currently sitting at -7, about 20 degrees above average. And unfortunately, that means that there's less cold air positioned over the Arctic than normal by a long shot. And that means that if we did see colder air, it wouldn't be as potent as maybe in previous years. But on the other hand, it's also meant that the polar vortex, which controls our areas of low pressure through the winter months, so November, December, January, is weaker and has barely formed compared to average, which could mean that we see less areas of low pressure, especially at the start of the winter, depending on how it goes. But of course, there'll be less cold air to tap into. So it's one of them, really. It could have a positive effect on colder weather in the UK, or it could have the opposite effect, and we could actually see northerly winds that aren't that cold at all. So, one to watch on that one. It's still a lot, there's still time for it to change, but it's not a great sign, I've got to be honest, if you're into your colder weather. So this is the UK Met Office run. It's just updated for the 3 PM run. Metsuit ends up getting over 20 centimetres. Wow. Ended up getting over 20 centimetres that winter. Wow. And the 2017-18, a lot of people saw some. Let's move the UK to Scandi. Send it to Scandi so we can get snow every day, lol. SSWs are getting better than normal cold spells anyway. Yeah, they pretty much are. We need an SSW. And if the polar vortex doesn't get going this year, then we're sorted. End of November, start December. Sandy gets his prediction right, and everyone's happy. No. Anyway, right. This is the latest UKV, the UK Met Office model run. And as you can see, it does have some wintry showers across the far north of the UK, extending into northern Scotland, but they will dissipate through the evening into tonight. But you can see that got some rainfall or a weather front moving through, a cold front moving through the UK through Sunday tomorrow. And that's going to turn wintry over the highest ground, over the highest mountains, Scottish mountains. And there's plenty of rain moving through the UK as it clears to our east, leaving some patchy showers behind through the latter part of Sunday into the early hours of Monday, particularly focused on the north of the UK. But you can see a band moving through central England and into the south as well. So basically, hit and miss showers across the UK through Monday morning, and the afternoon definitely drying out a little bit more. Can see something quite interesting from the UKV. We've got some rain moving in from the southwest, and as it hits some slightly cooler or colder air, turns readily to snow over the highest ground. James, I'm looking at you. Tell me if you get any snow. So we do see some snow over the highest ground, particularly over northern Scotland, the Scottish mountains, the Cairngorms, potentially, with some rain moving into the west and south, west and northwest, I should say. And then as it clears through to our east, it leaves more showers, sunshine and showers around. Plenty of thick cloud as well. Remember, that is close to the surface. Cloud cover would be thick with these sorts of patterns because of the rain moving in. It's going to bring cloud cover with it before it starts raining. So it could be some thick cloud, especially in the south. Basically, that's kind of your sign. Clouds turn thicker before it rains, or they turn darker is the proper term. You can see more wintry showers for the far north through Wednesday afternoon, but then generally we're turning milder, wetter and windier. Not too windy though, don't worry about that. And the max temperatures for Thursday are definitely increasing from their low points. So if you look midday on Saturday, maximums of 11 degrees on the far south coast and 8 for central England, and then obviously below average further north. But then you can see tomorrow is actually colder, so for where I am in central England, 7 to 8 degrees, pretty cold. Can see some points across the north not reaching 2 or 3 degrees, barely reaching 2 or 3 degrees, and some places might even see temperatures not rise above freezing across your highest summits. But even in the south, the max temperatures are reaching 10 to 11, maybe 12 degrees. Obviously, there's a bit of a frost over Scotland, but many areas not seeing that. And then Monday, the temperatures are beginning to slowly lift up as milder air returns from the southwest, but again, still pretty chilly for many parts of the UK. So definitely a changeable pattern. This is the CFS V2 700 millibar height seasonal anomalies for November, December and January. And you explain why the mountains take the precipitation it comes across and misses the lower elevations. Oh, that's that scientific word. Oh no. I know what it is as well. Oh god. Oh no, I can't remember it now. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the clouds, the mountains work as a shield, so as that rainfall, the precipitation moves across, it falls on the top of the mountains, but it moves as like a shadow. So as it moves across, it doesn't rain. It basically, all the precipitation falls at your highest altitudes before trickling down to your lower altitudes, is basically how I explain it. I cannot remember what it's called. It's not a landslide. This winter will be the teaser winter. Maybe it will be. Probably will get a mild winter this year. Every year's a mild winter, innit? Orographic rainfall, that's it. Yeah, I remember now. Cheers. Cheers, Lamb. I remembered now. Orographic rainfall. Did about that in geography last year. I couldn't remember the name for the life of me. Yeah, basically, the mountains act as a shield, and as the precipitation moves across your highest ground, it turns sunnier on its other side because it works as like a shield on the other side. It's really hard to explain. Yeah, it lost much of the moisture as it's passing over the highest ground. Yeah, cheers. I got myself a bit confused there, but I think I got the general picture okay for you. There you go. Right, CFS V2 seasonal. This is covering 3 months, November, December and January 25-26. So, do I have to explain this to you? Higher pressure is positioned over Spain and France. A lower pressure towards Greenland and southwesterly wind. What more do you say? Above average temperatures, pretty boring, mild southwesterly wind, no chance of snow, pretty rainy or wet in the north and the west, and driest in the south and the east. No chance of frost, no chance of rain, no chance of, well, actually chance of rain, yeah, and chances of snow, 0. Goodbye. Silly, that's just rubbish. No one cares about that. So cooked, yeah, so cooked. Evening to Gavin. Hello to you. Nice to see you in here. Backloaded winter, I reckon. I think front-loaded winter with some snow at the end. I put out a post on Twitter about that, and some people did not like it, and I don't care, because it's my prediction, and if you don't like it, you know where to go. Anyway, moving on to the CFS latest run, because a lot of you is probably what you've tuned in for. Let's be honest. Let's be real here. We'll have a look at the latest CFS. That changes every week. I don't look at them. They are terrible. Still going for cold first half of winter, lol. CFS at it again. Yeah, it's always at it. I don't think it's ever predicted colder weather in its life. Hills and mountains will get the rest of the snow. For more low-lying areas would need temperatures from -5 to -10. Pretty much. So you've explained it quite well there. Well done. You've got it nailed on. That's pretty much how it works. But right, we'll skip. Well, it's keeping the trend of high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north with this run. Very mild southwesterlies. Oh dear, and the rest of November is very mild. It's not like that run I showed you yesterday. Thanks for all the support on that, by the way. I was not expecting it to get 4,000 views in a day, but there you go. Well, this would be the winter to forget, to start anyway. Higher pressure over into the east of the UK, bringing up mild southerly winds. That bloody cough. Yeah, but bringing up southwesterly winds. Yeah, not much going on. Higher pressure set over the top of it. Press the wrong button. I pressed the wrong button. But yeah, basically higher pressure set over the top of the UK, and it's very mild. Yay! Wow, this would be a nondescript winter. Wow. Ridging out to the west slightly. A very mild Christmas there with a west-southwesterly, west-northwesterly airflow. Pretty mild Christmas. Ugh. Got higher pressure out to our west, lower pressures over Scandinavia. Winds finally turn into a northerly direction, but again, very transient. High pressure ridging back through the country. And off we go again. High pressure over into the south, lower pressure to the north. And here we go. Stormy weather through January. I did predict that bit. Very stormy through January. Plenty of low pressure. And February keeps it going. Oh my word. It's really unsettled. High pressure tries to build towards the end of Feb, but doesn't quite, and it turns very, very unsettled. Oh, and look at that. Would you look at that? As we get into the start of March, when all the cold air starts to move away, higher pressure gets going to our north, and we bring in an easterly wind. This is just typical. This is absolute. Oh, look at this now at the end of the run. Already annoying you. Higher pressure out to our west, building properly what we want to see all winter. Lower pressure sinking along the North Sea, and winds turn into a proper cold northerly direction with the -10 line through the UK. Wow, that is a proper winter chart, but of course it's happening in March. Look at that cold air through the UK. And of course it's far too late, because look at the time of year, 13th of March. Wow, look at that. About 12 days of cold there. Yep, brilliant. And then we turn unsettled and westerly again. Well, that is the worst CFS run I've ever seen in my life. Hope you all enjoyed that one. Wow. That was pretty bad. Good evening. Perhaps our joke of this upcoming winter might be an SSW. They don't always guarantee cold, but they definitely increase your chances. I agree with Danny V on that one. Try the other ones. I'll have a look at them. Not necessarily send it. Arctic doesn't actually reach its coldest to early spring, being early March. That's true. You usually do see -10 through the UK at the end. Oh, don't worry about it, Bab. I've only been coughing and talking rubbish for 25 minutes, so I won't worry about it, Bab. You haven't missed too much, but cheers for joining us. Anyway, I do appreciate it. Man United 3 points. Nice one, Paul. I know you support your football team, so you'll be happy about that one. Right, we'll have a look at the midnight run because we've got time to look at it. Will this be any better, or will it be another disappointing one? If I do move to the side of the camera, that's because I'm coughing. I'm not trying to get that on camera and annoy you all. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is Send It's forecast. Got colder air beginning to move in by the 17th. Higher pressure really ridging out in the Atlantic. And lower pressure is sat over France. Got an area of low pressure sat to the north of Scotland. And we are beginning to drag in some slightly cooler or colder air from the northwest. And then the wind turns into a northerly direction into the end of the run. Higher pressure up towards Greenland. Lower pressure to sat over eastern Europe. And winds are into a pretty cold northerly direction. With probably a few wintry showers in the north and the east. So yeah, that's pretty good to end November there. Well, towards the end of November. Try and get high pressure, sending it towards Scandinavia there. Send it to Scandi. Send it to Scandi merch. Tries to move towards our northwest and does build. But unfortunately, we've got an area of low pressure sat over the top of the UK, bringing in some very wet conditions. But as it sinks southwards, the wind does turn into more of an easterly direction. Unfortunately, we don't have any access to any colder air. So it just kind of sits to the north. Throughout that few days, so we waste the cold opportunity there. But you can see higher pressure is evident to our west and northwest, and we eventually bring in that colder air. But we are under a ridge of high pressure, so it's pretty dry there, with maybe some harsh overnight frost for a time. Oh, I need a drink. Stuck it back at me, bro. Oh, God. Sorry. Oh, dearie me. Stuck it back at me, bro. We've got an area of low pressure moving in from our west, and that's bringing in some unsettled conditions. That should be better now. Bit better now. I got to get the coughing out. Yeah, I'm still not right, but I am better. I'm sorry about that. That's thrown me off. But yeah, we've got an area of low pressure moving in from off the Atlantic. That's turning things much more unsettled. I'm just going to get a drink. Will do. Oh, some water. Better than tea in this situation. Much better. Sorry about that. Told you I wasn't well, didn't I? Area of low pressure is moving in from the west. That's going to turn things more unsettled into the second week of December. And we've got an area of low pressure moving through the southern UK on the 18th, so pretty unsettled there. Before we do see higher pressure moving back to our south and west, and lower pressures to our south and east, and lower pressures up to our northwest. And winds are in from a southwesterly direction, so definitely turning much milder. And that's Christmas Day, and that is a pretty mild southwesterly airflow going on there. So look away if you want a cold Christmas, is what I'd say there. A very mild Christmas, temperatures lifting probably into the low teens. And that trend into start January continues. Higher pressure to the south and east, lower pressure to our northwest, and winds are in from a southwesterly direction. Oh wow, this is a very mild run. Brief cold snap there, higher pressure out to our west-northwest, winds in from a northwesterly direction, but doesn't last too long at all. Until we try and build heights towards the north. Again, winds in from a northeasterly direction, but mostly dry with that. Maybe the odd wintry shower in the south and the east. before the high pressure topples, and we turn westerly again. Westerly flow, pest from the west through February. Here we go again. That's what's making me cough. All these rubbish mild ones. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It mocks us again. Higher pressure properly building to our northwest again. Bringing in an easterly wind and turning things much colder again into the second week of March. So, pretty bad there. Oh yeah, look at that. Let's just move the high pressure towards Greenland into the 22nd of March. Drag down some cold air in an area of low pressure. And let's bring in a massive snowstorm on the 25th for the south. Brilliant! Nice note. Well, still a cold place. Sundays weather mean. Last November it said it was going to be a freezing in December and was mild. So mild equals cold. Pretty much, yeah. I'm sure they'll be there soon. So yeah, I'm sure your carers will arrive soon. With all these runs, what do you think is going to happen this winter? Right. Just because I'm going to catch everyone up, and I do apologise about me being ill on this live stream. Probably should have just waited till next week, but there you go, I'm trying my best here. Leave a like on the stream for my coughing, and we'll be right in no time. But yeah, so I think last 10 days of November into the first half of December could be interesting for coldies. I think January is going to be very stormy. A mild Christmas is forecast from me. A very mild Christmas. January is going to be a nondescript month with lots of stormy weather moving through. But then I also think February could have some cold potential, particularly around the second half of the month. That's my prediction. Temperatures for December, slightly below average compared to the 91-2020 average. January, above average, probably by about 2 degrees. And then February, around to 0.5 degrees above average would be my guess, compared to the modern day average. Not the rubbish 81 to 2021. Any snow, definitely in end of November, start December, which is quite common, but I do think it could be quite cold snap, maybe similar to 2010. Played in 2010, he's had plenty in his dinner. Yeah, I certainly did. That were a lovely chicken. Last November, all the mods said it was going to be mild, going to be freezing in December. Basically the opposite. So all those CFS runs there have just shown mild, so that means it's going to be cold. Just saying. Can't wait. I bet a lot of people can't. Yeah, I love snow. Yeah, I know a lot of people that do in this chat. Finally, we'll take a look, because I know I'm struggling a bit, but we'll finally look at the ECM WF charts for the next few weeks to see what they are showing. Of course, we do look at these quite often, but we'll see what they are showing this week. So we've got the mean sea level pressure charts up March 2013. Oh, that would be brilliant. That would brutal cold that for March, wasn't it? It can still be cold in March sometimes. It's quite rare though. Want some more water. Right. Going to delete these because I don't need them. Right. 500 millibar heights with the week 1 anomalies. So from the 27th of October to the 3rd of November. There you go. Are showing lower pressure out to the west of the UK. And winds are in from a southwesterly direction, so unsettled and mild. Temperature anomalies near normal for the north, but above average for central southern England. Precipitation anomalies, of course, areas of low pressure beginning to move in from the west-southwest are going to turn things wetter, so a slightly above average precipitation anomaly. For week 2, the 3rd to the 10th of November, that sort of theme continues with the ECM charts, the weekly anomalies. These are rubbish, by the way, but I just thought I'd show them. Lower pressure again out to our west, higher pressure to our south and east, and winds are in from a southwesterly direction. Temperature anomalies remaining above average for all parts of the UK. Actually quite warm. Parts of Austria, Italy, and many parts of Eastern Europe, even parts of Norway and Sweden, seeing temperatures 3 to 6 degrees above average. But for the UK, it's 1 to 3 degrees above average, so a pretty mild week between the 3rd and the 10th of November. Precipitation, again, lower pressure out to the west, moving in, wetter than average to be expected. Into the 3rd week, the 10th to the 17th of November, well, this could be more interesting. Higher pressure really ridging through. Well, it's higher pressure everywhere. Lower pressures in the Atlantic. That's probably going to be trying to move in and bring in more unsettled conditions. But we do see a lot of higher pressure to our north and east. That could be trying to bring in an easterly wind around that. We'll be mostly dry with that, but maybe a few overnight frosts in places. Temperature anomalies are cooling down, but again, still slightly above average. And precipitation anomalies are no signal, but you can see maybe hints of higher pressure to the north, as we do see some drier weather there, and lower pressure maybe to our southeast, as we do see some slightly wetter than average conditions over parts such as the Netherlands and maybe parts of northern France. Into week 4, the 17th to the 24th of November. This doesn't really paint a good picture, but higher pressure basically, maybe slightly to the north of the UK actually, maybe bringing in an easterly wind, send it to the east. I don't know. Temperature anomalies cooling down, but we are getting quite a way out. But definitely a signal for milder than average temperatures for the north or for northeastern Europe. But then maybe slightly cooler for the west of Europe. Maybe cooling down a little bit with maybe a slack easterly flow. Temperature anomalies, if we are bringing an easterly, look quite dry. Maybe a few frosty patches around throughout that week. Going into the final week of November, the 24th of November to the 1st of December. This is very interesting, but it's a long way off. It's 5 weeks away. Mid-Atlantic ridge going up towards Greenland. You'd expect to drop a low pressure to our east, and that could be bringing down a pretty cool or even cold northerly wind. Oh, could be quite interesting there. Thank you very much for cough medicine. Yeah, I think I need some after this stream. Thank you very much, though, Bab, for your generous donation. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it very much. Nice one, Hazel, that she's arrived. Finally, thank goodness. I know you were going to riot if she didn't arrive on time. Good. Right, 2 meter temperatures. Cheers as well, by the way, Bab, for that. I really do appreciate your continued support. You're always supporting the streams, aren't you? Right, so for the final week of November, the temperature anomalies are around average to no signal. Not really too much of a deviation. Maybe slightly milder for the Republic of Ireland, but on balance, around average, really. And the precipitation anomalies paint a no signal picture, so not too much going on there. And then finally, into the first week of December, we've got higher pressure ridging out in the Atlantic, but because of its position, it's not, and I hate saying this, but it's not penetrated. Oh, I hate that word. It's not penetrated far enough northwards towards Greenland, or it's not far enough out to our west. And around that, we're probably bringing in the winds from actually off the Atlantic from a northwesterly direction. So that's probably quite dry, probably mild as well. Temperature anomalies are no signal, but we are a long way out, so to be expected. And precipitation anomalies are drier than average in the west and slightly wetter than average to our northeast. But really, it's no signal if we're being honest here. There's not too much happening there. So there you go. We'll quickly look at another CFS run because I want to. And I'll have a quick drink. I hope you're all enjoying the stream, though. I do apologise again about my coughing, but what can you do, eh? I've been ill for ages, and it just won't go away. Yeah. Glad to hear it, Hazel. Yeah. Send its weather. I recognise the Atlantic sea surface temperatures out to the west are about 2 degrees lower than average. Yeah, that's something to point out, Shy. Weak polar vortex. The polar vortex barely exists at this point. It really barely exists. Really barely exists at this point. I think it might be a mixed winter, so similar to last year, except first half's cold, second half mild. Exactly. I agree very much with you, James Bacon, and what a name. I do really agree. With that there, with your post there. Right. Moving on. Do you think we could get a strong La Nina? No. I can show you up, and I'll show you up. What am I doing? What am I on about? I will actually show you after I've shown this. I'll show you the CFS V2 phases. So this shows you basically El Nino or La Nina, and I'll show you what it's showing Jody after I've shown this, which I'll very quickly run through. But yeah, I'll quickly show you it and keep you up to speed. Well, I'll just speed through this because it looks very mild for November. With this CFS run, oh my word. What has happened? Where's that extremely bitterly cold run gone? Well, there you go. That's where I got the thumbnail from, by the way. That's that chart on the Christmas day. A cold northerly wind through the UK. Actually, quite a cold Christmas there. Maybe even some snow for you, James, in your little shed in the north. But we're actually quite cold for the end of December. It does actually look quite cold for the end of December. And here we go. Oh, this is actually looking quite good. Well, was that a voice crack? I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Higher pressure is out to our west up towards Greenland, but it's a mid-Atlantic ridge extending northwestwards, bringing in a northerly flow. Pretty cold and maybe even a bit wintry there. Areas of low pressure sliding southwards, got high pressure out to our west, and we've got some quite cold air moving southwards. We've got an area of low pressure sliding through the country along the east coast, bringing plenty of snow showers, probably prolonged snow events in the north and the east of that. And it is bitterly cold, actually, for a long, long time. Wow. 2-week cold spell there with the this CFS run. Pretty cold and wintry there to end December and start January. Would be quite interesting there. Plenty of snow, particularly in the north and the east. Could think of a few places that would be snowed in. But then it does break down and we go into that westerly phase briefly. Another cold snap develops. Higher pressure builds out to our west. Lower pressure moving through the country. Suit would see a lot of snow with that, with the positioning of that low pressure. But there you go. And winds back into the west-southwest. But, you know, I'd be pretty happy with a 2-week cold spell with plenty of snow and rain and snow potential. But other than that, pretty uninteresting. Right, I'll quickly bring up the charts I said I was going to bring up for you to have a look at. Looks cold for me. Yeah. But Jan 25 had the coldest start. Yeah, it did actually have a below average month, didn't we? Still think we are in for a good cold winter. Training nature. That depends. Well, Andrew, I know that you were going to say that. It won't snow because you've said it, you know? It won't. You know, wherever you're going, wherever you're travelling to, that I'll make sure that I'll do my weather modification I can apparently do, and I'll divert the snow away. Unless you want the day off, of course, and, you know, I'll divert it there. But, yeah, I can't really do that. Some people say I work for, like, a weather modification company, and I send up weather balloons. I'm not sure what the heck you're talking about. Just some kid that sits forecasting the weather, but there's some weird people out there, isn't there? I'll divert the snow to my house, and all you lot can bugger off. No. If it was going to snow anywhere, it'd snow at bloody James's house. So there you go. There's some weird people out there, isn't there? Yeah, I'm a weather modificator. Don't know if that's even a real word. Chris A agrees with Andrew. Predict it won't snow. Probably won't. Probably be cold rain. My internet keeps dying. Yeah, James can have the snow. He bloody sends me all these videos, expecting me to be like, oh yeah, James, well done. You've got all this lovely snow and I've got bugger all because I live south. Ugh. Also, the massive cold spell that didn't come off at the end of last winter. Yeah, that was ridiculous. I'm forecasting that. Beast from the East was my titles. What a time to be alive. Oh, dearie me. All the bit of clickbaiting I did there, but you got to do what you got to do, haven't you? Let me see if I can find the CFS. ENSO 1+2 forecast. I think that's what it was. Let me see if I can find it. This one, is it? This one? I think so. Yeah, I found it. Nina 1+2, is it? Right, here we go. I think this is the right one. Please correct me if I'm wrong. This is from yesterday. Why is everyone laughing? Right, and they stop laughing in the chat. I disagree. But anyway, this is the Nina 1+2 SST anomalies. Need a breath of fresh air now. As you can see, we've got last year's charts on here as well. So why is it not showing? There we go. So we've got the last year's from Jan 2025. So last year we had an El Nino winter, if you remember. An El Nino, which is where we see the temperatures above the line. Basically, I'll basically explain it. So 0 to 0.5 is ENSO neutral, so where the sea surface temperatures are average. But 0.5 plus 1 and above, 0.5 to 1 and above is a El Nino, which is where you see sometimes a backloaded winter. And then La Nina is the 0 to -1 and below in terms of the sea surface temperature anomalies, which is a La Nina. Brilliant writing there. That's really good, and that can introduce the risk of a front-loaded winter. Lots of other factors like an easterly QBO, which we do have this year, so that could be interesting. Is it west? Oh, I'm not even going to go into that, but you can see there the trends into November and December and January are for us to see a neutral slash borderline La Nina style winter. But barely. It is quite nip and tuck. It's a very weak one, which means that we could see some cold weather at the start, but obviously there's lots more factors than just that that come into play with that sort of thing. Send it, you're getting Pigeon excited tonight. Yeah, he's looking at me, you know? He's always looking at me. He loves it. He loves a live stream, and I'm sure you lot do too. So someone said that I should, like, remove Pigeon from the live streams. I have a message for you. Bugger off. He's staying in the videos. He had some entertainment, some squawking. There's some people that love him. So, you know, he's quite a happy character. A happy character when I'm talking. I know no one else is. Yeah, someone asked. I think it was Pink Fox said, "Oh, can you give him to me?" I said, "No, he's mine." Well, he's ours. I should say he's a family. He's the family the family pet. But there you go. Do you think the tripole? No, not strong enough. We need colder anomalies to the south of Greenland. It's not strong enough this year, personally, in my opinion. I don't think it's strong enough to see a tripole this year. I don't think the sea surface temperatures don't exactly play the biggest role in forecasting anyway. Pigeon stares. I know, part of the team's Pigeon. Yeah, exactly. There's no wrong with him, alright? No wrong with him. And if you don't like him, don't watch. That's just the rules. So many opinions on the table. There certainly is. Certainly is in this chat as well. Plenty of people disagreeing. What I want to see, actually, is everyone's predictions for the winter right now. Pop them in the chat right now. Just say December, cold. January, cold. February, mild. Do that. Go on. I want to see what you lot think. So do that, and that'll be the end of the live stream. I just kind of want to get the ideas of what other people think. Will the Azores high be dominant? Will we be influenced by lower pressure and the stupid Atlantic conditions? What do you think? Every month full of yellow, so of course you'd predict that, Rachel. Wouldn't have expected anything less. December cold, January mild, February and March cold. Interesting thoughts, Eddie, there. December cold, of course, James, you agree with me. Mid-December, cold start, Jan, cold, then rest. Mild. Yep. Okay. Feb cold, January cold, December mixed. Fair enough. Cold Feb, says Chris. I think he might be right there. You never know. January mild, but cold second half. No snow, of course, yeah. February, very... James, that was not in your predictions. I call the complete and utter rubbish stamp on that one. Summer, December and cold Jan, says Yuxel. Fair enough, might probably be a heat wave in December, and then beach from the east January. You know, pretty decent. Lots of snow for Barnsley. I highly doubt that. We never see any. Danny, but there you go. Probably be Andrew's prediction, and we see this much snow. December average warm, January below average Feb. Yeah, a lot of people don't agree with me, but who cares? December's going to be cold, telling you now. December, watch out for him. Watch out for December. All cold, says If. Well, we all love that one. Maybe not. Maybe we get fed up of snowy days every day. Long as the Lake District Mountains get snow, I don't care. I'm sure you will, Mark. You probably get snow every single year. Probably get it every day. You made your decision. Of course you did. Yeah, you looked at my forecast, James. I'm telling you now. That's what you did. You looked at my forecast and, oh, look, Sendik's predicted end of Feb cold. Let's go for it. And I'm joking. Beans on toast is in the chat. I didn't even know he was here. November makes December. Can't say that out loud. March minus 37 isotherm. I don't even know if that's possible, but yeah, we'll go with it. Have you seen mine? Cold potentially in late November to early December, with NJO forcing January mild. Feb mild overall. Maybe last week Feb changed. That is a good prediction, Josh. I agree on that one. How did you know? Of course I do. All right, James. I do. All right. I know you better than you know yourself. November rubbish with one storm. December cold start, above average for the rest of Jan. February a little bit of snow, and all in all a forgettable winter. Don't like you anymore, Pete. No, I'm joking. It doesn't matter anyway. We'll all have fun along the way, even if it is a ridiculously mild winter. You'll all enjoy my titles this year. I'll be sure to make the most of it. Any of them cold GFS runs, bitterly cold and beast from the east style conditions. I'm going to be like the Daily Mail this year. No, I'm not. I'll calm it down this year. There won't be as much datey content. I'll focus on the main stuff. Have you seen Mets Ryan marked interest late November, early December for MGO and Coles? Yes, I did, and I actually think if he's predicting it, then I'm actually done a very good job, and I think that maybe I'll be correct for a check. Learners, we don't mention people like that in this chat. He's a special case, all right? He's a special case. What's your favourite and accurate run? I've got to say the ECM AI model run at the moment. It has the highest accuracy rate. And it's a shame that AI is the model that is winning compared to the others. But in my opinion, the weather models have really gone downhill. They've really gone downhill in the last couple of years. He's the modified Met Jeff, yeah. Yeah, it definitely works with him behind the scenes. Don't be like the Met Office. Yeah, they're brilliant at scaremongering and creating their interesting titles. And also blocking people. Don't know why they've done that. They blocked loads of my friends, weather friends, part of the community on Twitter. Could not tell you, X. Could not tell you why. Maybe they're just worried. And then they'll be blocking me next because I'm the up and coming YouTube star. Gonna overtake the Met Office one day. You'll see me doing my presenting, like stood up and going, "Hey guys, this is gonna be the weather for the next week." That'll be me. That'll be me in front of my green screen. They're doing the forecast. Yeah. What's wrong with Weekly? There's no wrong with him. He's a decent enough guy. Just didn't respond to my Twitter request. That's all. So it's a weak vortex, cold end of December and early Jan, then mild afterwards. Fair enough. Pretty good prediction there. Pretty good prediction. Maybe it'll come off. Oh yes, there is my Discord server. If any of you are interested in joining, and also if you want to get cop some Send It merch next week, makes it a lot easier. But I'll keep the things going. Cold all the way through this winter. Atlantic will be demoted. Pure speculation, of course. There you go. More lives, Jody. Don't worry, I'll keep them at least weekly. They'll be increase if there's like snow on the forecast. I don't know why I did that. I hope it wasn't too loud. Can you show the polar vortex graph? I'm not sure if I can. I'm not sure if I've got the data. I'm not sure if I've got the stuff there. Met Jeff post snow predictions in June. Yeah, no, I've seen it. It was brilliant. Wish I could be as confident as him with that. Hopefully loads of snow watchers. I doubt it, James. There'll be one called James's Shed Snow Watch. I'll do that. 1 minute. I'll pull up the polar vortex. I'll pull up the polar vortex. Oh, I know how to do it. 1 minute. I remember how to do it. Meteo CL. And then if I go to the GFS, latest run, and go... I've not looked at this in ages. Northern Hemisphere. Look at me. I know my French. Hemi-Nord. No, I have no idea what any of that means. I need to move myself over, though, don't I? What a silly stream. Will you be doing a review of the year, Matt? Yeah, I'll be reviewing all of my forecasts over the year, which, to be fair, have not been that bad. I've got to be honest, they've not been that bad. I'll show you this. I can show you the polar vortex stuff, but I'll have to show you this, because I can't remember how to find the other stuff. It's all, you don't need to shout, I want it mild. I know someone else that wants mild. I'm sure you can guess who it is. Be right on your side. Anyway, right. So this is the polar vortex at its roots. It's currently at -72, and this is basically well up in the stratosphere. But as you can see, over the next, well, at least the next few weeks, it's going to remain between -72 and -76 at its peak. Now you can see actually something a little bit more interesting, a minor warming gets going over Siberia, and this is a very minor warning, but it is maybe a sign of things to come. 5th of November, and the CFS is already producing a minor warming to the east of Siberia. And that is putting some strain on the polar vortex at its roots. Now, usually, this would be at about -80, I'd like to guess. Maybe a little bit lower, -84. I need to find that graph. Oh, no. If anyone's got the graph, can you send it in the Discord for me, and I'll put it up, but I've just forgot where it is. Because I haven't looked at it in so long, I forgot where it is. But yeah, polar vortex at its roots is there, but it's weaker than average. And you can see this early warming over Siberia would put strain on it and potentially could cause some impacts later on. Maybe something to watch, but of course at the moment it's just speculation and something to monitor. Oh, sorry about the ads. 2026 year will be hot and cold. Okay. Yeah, if it snows on Christmas, I will run to James's shed with hot dog suit on. Well, there you go. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, that's the polar vortex though at its roots. Is there any graphs that you don't show on your channel that is for the upper air pressures? Some things I look at myself, and I don't show on the channel because I just don't find them as interesting. Of course, in the future live streams, I'll show more stuff. I'm only just starting out, really. I'm only 8 months in. But of course, I'll try and show more stuff. But yeah, I'm always looking for new stuff to feature on the channel, of course, which is different, you know. Don't want to be like the rest of them out there. But yeah, I'm trying to vary up the stuff I show. I'll try and find more stuff for next time as well, just to keep improving the content. But as always, thank you for continuing, as always, to watch the channel. I do appreciate it. Make sure to join the Discord. I'm sure James has sent a few links. And of course, my other mods, Danny V and Andrew. Of course, so they're greatest parents in the world. Anyway, but yeah, they're very supportive, of course, you know. Brilliant. So yeah. Remember, we are the second fastest growing UK weather channel on the platform. Can we take over the Metaphys and be number one? I'm not sure. But yeah, I do appreciate all of your continued support from all of you. The ones that, you know, become members, the ones that do all the donations, and of course, all of you lot that chat on the streams, that leave comments on my videos. The support's been really amazing. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching today's stream. I do appreciate it. And I do apologise about the coughing, but I've got my lucky water here, which has stopped that from happening. We've just reached about an hour, so that's great. And I'll see you all in the next stream. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye, everyone.